What's up guys, welcome to the channel. In this video we're going to be going over paint protective film for your off-road vehicle. Does it work? Benefits? And then how well does it actually hold up? Does it actually prevent damage to your paint? We're going to go over a couple different topics regarding paint protective film today, so stay tuned, cool your ash, and pack your trash. So first off guys, why would you want to get PPF or paint protective film? Now there's a couple different reasons. Main thing is protect your paint. It's in the name, right? It is literally a clear film. I have the Xpel self-healing clear bra, and it's essentially a clear film that goes over your paint and provides protection from scratches, abrasions, rocks, etc. It does not protect from dents. It doesn't, but the idea is it'll protect from branches when you're off-roading and that kind of thing. It's new to being tried in the off-road world. Typically it's just found on like the front lips of BMWs and stuff to protect from rock chipping on the paint. But I decided to put on my Bronco because I have the rare antimatter blue. I go out in the woods a lot. I go on tight trails. I go through trees, branches, scraping all along the sides constantly. So I wanted to see if I could preserve the integrity of my paint since it's so rare. This color was only made for a few months and then they discontinued it on the Bronco. So I wanted to keep that fresh paint underneath. So I got it. And then the self-healing idea is that when you put it in the heat, the film will kind of fluidize, so to speak, and fill in those scratches and stuff that were caused by branches and rocks and whatnot. So I've had it for about 2.5 years, and I'm going to kind of go over how it's holding up, pros and cons, the cost, and what I think in the end. Is it worth it? So on my particular Bronco, I did almost the entire vehicle in the PPF, okay? I did not do the tailgate because the tailgate in and of itself was over $500, I think it was $700 just to do the tailgate because of all the cutting and measuring and time it took to make it fit. Everything else was pretty easy for them to do. The only other area I did not do were the A-pillars as well, which is probably a mistake because you'll see why. But I didn't end up doing this. It was too much money. So everything else was done, and total cost for a four-door Bronco with the pre-cut Xpel self-healing panels was like $3,200. So $3,200. That was the price, and it's admittedly expensive and not something I'd do on my average off-roader. But I wanted to do it, so why not? And some of you want to do it too. That's why you're watching this video. So here's the nuts and bolts. Let's go. Question number 1. Does it self-heal? Yes, to an extent. Okay? Hear me out. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. It self-healed great for about 6 months, and then I quickly discovered the limits, flip the camera, of that self-healing with this scratch, which you might not even be able to see, but this scratch right here that just goes and goes and goes, and it goes almost the whole length of the Bronco. It came from right there, and then on this side, right there, this sucker was a very big branch. Literally is, no, I have skinny wrists, but it's about as thick as my wrist. And it just ate into it the whole length. You can see how it nicked it right there too on the vinyl. So it has its limitations, guys. It does. However, rest assured, underneath that scratch, the actual paint is not scratched. So that's the benefit. Even though you see a scratch, peel back this vinyl, no scratch on the paint. And then after that, the self-healing properties were working pretty darn well. I was getting light scratches from going through branches and stuff that were overgrowing the trails. I go through a lot of tight, brushy, woody trails here in Northern California, and I'm not afraid to have branches scrape along the side of my vehicle. And doing those a couple dozen times, I did notice that a lot of the light branches, they would scratch, but after leaving in the sun for a couple hours, the scratches would totally disappear. So it was working great. Up until about 6 months to 8 months in, I noticed the self-healing properties were just wearing out. They weren't taking the UV exposure well from the harsh sun in California. The constant scraping, self-healing, scraping, self-healing. So currently, 2 years in, there's no more self-healing. Once I get a scratch, it stays there pretty much forever. Doesn't change. I'll try to show in this light basically all the scratches on my vehicle. You can kind of see there going down. You can see right there. You can see right there all the scratches I have and swirl marks coming all the way down. It's really hard to capture in lighting. It actually looks really, really good on camera, like right here. You can't tell, and then even in person, you can't really see the scratches till you get close. But these scratches here, there's hundreds and hundreds of them really, really close together, going everywhere, all over the place. I think this is a good example. All these are scratches. All that. So many scratches. That's just thousands right there. And then we have some big ones, like right here, that you can actually get your fingernail in. But again, it looks great right there. But am I mad about that? No, not at all. Because I know the paint underneath is perfectly fine. I just don't want anyone to expect to have zero scratches as long as they have the film on their vehicle. It does have limitations. It was not designed to take the giant branch scratches that you're going to encounter when you're wheeling. It's called pinstriping. It goes deep. It's broken branches eating into your paint normally, but in this case it's eating into the film, and no cuts on my film have gone through the film. Zero. So theoretically, I peel back this film and the paint, that rare antimatter blue, is perfect underneath, and that's my goal. Why do I care if the paint's perfect? Because I'm not planning on selling? I don't know. I like knowing it's perfect. But jinx, it's not perfect because I didn't put on my A-pillars, and this is what happened. Scratch, scratch, all the way up. I really hope these scratches come out on the camera. They're deep and wide and everywhere. But the other benefit to having PPF on your vehicle as well, guys, is going to be cleaning it, okay? So it's not like a ceramic coating. Initially it felt like it, but I think that's just because the shop ceramic coated it afterward. But it does have like a sleeker feel to it. For example, I know I can't transmit feeling through the camera, but right here on my tailgate where there's no PPF, it's like, it's clean, but it's kind of grippy and sticky. And right here, it's much sleeker, much smoother. And I don't ceramic coat my vehicle. I mean, I've done it twice in the 2.5 years I've owned it, but I don't typically do it. I just do the nice 2-bucket wash, suds it up, scrub it off, rinse it off, use a pressure washer, and then I'll use some instant detailer sometimes, but I don't really wash it that often. And that gets us to the next point, and that's gonna be staining. That's right. I found out that if you do not take care of your PPF, it can and will stain from sap, from clay, from all the different stuff I've been through. It can stain, and the staining stays. You can't get rid of it, or at least I haven't figured out how. So keep it clean to an extent. Like, the stains aren't super bad. I'll show you in a second. The stains aren't super bad, but they can't come out, that I've found. So wash it. If you go through like a bunch of tree sap, or if you go through clay, wash it afterward. You know, normal earthy mud, you'll be fine. Snow, you'll be fine. Normal rock crawling, you'll be fine. But if you get clay or that right kind of sap on it, clean that sucker off quickly because it will stain. And then how is it holding up overall? Pretty darn good for 2.5 years of using it like it's not intended to be used, and I'll be honest right there. So a couple places right here, for example, it's got the door jamb right on this end, on the front side where it's coming back towards the back. They wrapped it around the edge, which is cool, but on the front side they didn't wrap it. But there's zero, and I repeat, zero cracking or peeling back on that lip right there. Hopefully you can see that, but there's that lip. It's fine all the way around. No issues. They did warranty a couple spots for me right after the install. A couple spots popped up. I brought it back in. They put it back down. It has not come up since. A few spots have come up and will not go away though. For example, this right here, it got some dirt underneath it. It peeled up, and that sucker has not wanted to go back. They could have warranted it. At that point, I was over it and I didn't really care. It's an off-roader and it's not bugging me that much, but it's this tiny little panel here, and it kept coming up. They fixed it once, it popped up again. I tried to fix it once, it popped up again, and then I was like, you know what, it's fine. And then right here, this is on me, but it's popping up a little bit here from my cable for my antenna that I have going through the hood, but it's really not bad at all. And then if we really want to get nitpicky here, this back end, there's a little bit of a peeling, but that's it. The spots where it is kind of peeling up is in the door jambs where it wraps behind the door. It's not visible at all from the outside. It's not that visible from the inside either. It doesn't bug me. It's been like that for 2.5 years. It has not changed. It doesn't worry me. But for some people, it might bug you. This is what, see that little peeling up right there in the door jamb. Little peeling right there. Peeling right here. But again, that hasn't changed. 2 years. And then a little peeling right there. You can see where it's brown. That's where the dirt's got underneath it. That's where it's peeling. Again, very, very minor in the grand scheme of things, and it's not getting worse. So bottom line is, guys, if it's worth it to you to protect your paint on your vehicle when you're off-roading, then yes, it is worth it. The PPF works. It protects your paint from branches, and just don't have the expectation that it's going to be invincible forever from scratches. It will show scratches after a while. Just know it's on the film, so don't trip. It's not in your paint, hopefully. I mean, if you guys wheeled with me, if you know me, you know that I really do not care about going into branches and getting pinstripes. I know you probably hear this on YouTube a lot. People are like, oh yeah, you know, I do this and that, and they don't actually really do it. I do, okay? I've been wheeling for years before I started this YouTube shenanigan. I do not care about pinstripes. I do not care about pinstripes on my Jeep. It's just this Bronco, when I got it, I wasn't sure how hard I was going to go with it yet. And I wanted to protect the paint because it was rare. So that's why I got this. And yeah, that's how it's held up for me. Hopefully this helps someone out there that's curious if PPF is right for you off-road. Just know this, guys, a little tidbit before I leave you. Pinstriping is part of the game of off-roading. If you are going off-roading and you are scared of hitting your skid plates, you're scared of getting a branch into your door, it might not be the hobby for you. So it's part of off-roading. It happens, it's okay. You're using your vehicle as it was intended. But if you want to take that extra step to know that your paint's protected while you're doing that, PPF will help you. Try it out. Xpel, that's what I got. Self-healing, pretty cool. That's it, guys. Cool your ash, pack your trash, and I'll see you on the trails. Bye.